lady, Miss Anne Codrington. Got a stone plaque over the front with her name and the date, 1902.
How do we get to them?
Oh, it's not far, sir. Just off Stone Road, on the way to North Foreland.
Well, thanks for your help, Sergeant. We'll get along.
You're welcome, sir. I hope it's what you're looking for.
Yes, so do I. Oh, one more question. Do you know of anyone in the district who's called or known as the Sin Eater?
The Sin Eater? Well, queer sort of name, sir. No, I'm afraid I don't. I'm sorry.
No, never mind, Sergeant. Thanks again. Come on, Paula.
There you are, Mr. Blake. The Anne Codrington Estate. 4 quite attractive little cottages. Which one do we choose?
We might try number 1. The ace stands for the highest or the lowest value.
Shall I come with you?
As long as you don't chunter on about food. Come on.
Who is it?
Can I speak to you for a moment, madam?
If you're selling something, I don't want it. If you want something, I ain't got it.
Well, that seems to cover everything.
If I could just have a word with you.
What do you want? If it's about the telly, I ain't got one.
I've called about the Black Zambomba.
Oh, is that it? Oh, you better come in.
Thank you.
They're always trying to sell you something that is round here. And if it ain't that it's collecting, it gets on your nerves.
I'm sure it must be very trying, Mrs.
Glibber. Agnes Glibber. I was in the middle of getting me supper. You'll be Mr. Quexley, I suppose.
I'm acting for Mr. Quexley.
Oh, he said I was to give it to Mr. Quexley.
The Sin Eater.
What?
The Sin Eater told you to give the Black Zambomba to Mr. Quexley.
Oh, I don't know nothing about no Sin Eater. Who are you? You ain't Mr. Quexley, so what do you know about it, eh?
Mrs. Glibber, I think I ought to tell you that this is a very serious business. A man has already been murdered.
Lord have mercy. Not Carlo, was it?
Carlo? Carlo who?
Carlo Rossi.
Mr. Blake, that's the man.
Yes, all right, Paula. Mrs. Glibber, please tell me everything you know about Carlo Rossi.
Oh, I don't know, I'm sure.
It'd be easier to tell me than the police, wouldn't it?
The police? Was it Carlo what was murdered?
Why should you think it was?
Well, he never come back, you see. It worried me, it did, but I didn't rightly know what to do.
You know Carlo Rossi well?
He's my nephew. My sister married an Italian. During the First World War it was. She's dead now. Only she was younger than me. I never met her husband, and I'd only met young Carlo once before he come here.
When did he come here?
Well, it'd be about 2 weeks ago. Oh, that'll be the kettle. I was just going to make a cup, I was.
I'll make it for you, shall I?
Yes, do that, will you, Paula?
The tea's already in the pot, miss.
Now, Mrs. Glibber, your nephew Carlo Rossi came here to see you 2 weeks ago.
That's right. He wanted to know if he could stop here for a couple of nights. Fair got the jitters he had. I could tell he was in some sort of trouble. Up and down like a monkey on a stick, and he kept looking out of the window. When young Johnny knocked, he wouldn't let me go to the door until he'd called out who he was.
Who's young Johnny?
Oh, he's the son of a lady friend what does errands for me now and again. Oh, thank you, miss.
Go on, Mrs. Glibber. Did Carlo Rossi tell you what was worrying him?
Well, he said it was nothing. His nerves was upset, but I wasn't born yesterday. Scared stiff he was or something. If you ask me, somebody was after him.
What happened next?
Well, I give him a bed in the spare room, but he didn't sleep much. Walking about half the night he was. And when he come down in the morning, he looked shocking. I've got to be on my way, Aunt Agnes, he said. And that's when he give me that thing.
The Zambomba?
Yes, that's right. It was a funny-looking thing, like a black jam jar with the top covered over by a bit of parchment stuff. It's got a stick through the middle. He told me to keep it somewhere safe, as it was very valuable. If he didn't come back, I was to give it to a man named Quexley who'd come for it.
And then he left?
Well, not till the evening. No, he gave them letters to Johnny, and he asked him to post them. 4 of them there was.
The playing cards.
What'd you say?
Never mind. Go on, Mrs. Glibber.
Well, Carlo told him not to post them all at the same time, and not anywhere in the district. He gave Johnny £3, he did. Johnny's got a married sister what lives at Maidstone. He gave them to her to post. They was all addressed to Mr. Quexley.
I know. Could I have the Black Zambomba?
Well, I suppose it's all right. I've got it in the back room. I'll fetch it. I can't get about very quickly these days. It's me arthritis.
It's beginning to gel, Paula.
They're going to get a shock at the Home Office.
Do 'em good.
Talk about killing two birds with one stone. I bet you never expected the Home Office job would link up with this, did you?
And Mrs. Glibber's coming back.
Oh, here it is. It don't look all that valuable, do it?
Well, it depends on what's inside. Let's open it carefully, Paula.
Packed full of cotton wool. And there's something hard in the middle.
A child's glass marble.
Hello, Paula. Where's the governor?
I don't know. Playing marbles with the Home Secretary, probably.
Doing what? Oh, I get it. You're talking about the marble in the Zambomba thing. Has the governor found out what it means?
I wouldn't know. He's being a bit oysterish.
We like springing a surprise. It gives him his kicks.
And I've got a little surprise I'm going to spring on him.
Well, it's difficult to surprise the governor. He usually knows all about it already. Oh, here he is now.
Hello, you two. Gossiping as usual?
I've got Nichols' report on the Quexleys.
It doesn't matter now. You'll never believe what I'm going to tell you.
You know.
About the Quexley we wanted, yes. He's been working as a rather obscure civil servant in a department of the Home Office.
Bang goes the little surprise, Paula.
Eh?
Oh, never mind. Have you seen this Quexley?
No, he's away on leave. A walking tour in Scotland or something. It just shows how these government departments are run. Most of the staff don't even know the name of the chap along the passage or what his job is.
What's Quexley's job?
From what I can gather, he initialed forms which were then passed on for somebody else to read. However, he doesn't matter very much.
But I thought he was the man to whom Carlo Rossi intended to send the cards.
Oh, yes, he was, but he doesn't know anything about it. By the way, how did you get back from Larkminster, Tinker? Managed to hire a car?
I hitchhiked. The vicar's daughter gave me a lift to London, and she did have the right legs.
Fine.
Well, what's the next move, Gov?
Masterly inactivity until this evening.
And what happens then?
We tie everything up neatly and call it a day. Quite a nice problem it was, really, when you come to think of it.
Why aren't we stopping at the pub, Gov?
Out you get.
You're too late for a drink. It's closed.
There's still a light in the bar. Perhaps we can get the landlord to open up for us.
I do wish I knew what you were up to.
Same here.
Who is it?
Good evening, Mr. Jasper. Remember me, Sexton Blake?
I'm sorry, sir. We're closed.
I don't want to drink. I just want to ask you a question. Can we come in?
Well, yes, come in, sir. Well, what was the question, sir?
Mr. Jasper, what have you done with Carlo Rossi?
I don't know what you mean, sir.
Perhaps I should have said the body of Carlo Rossi.
Mr. Blake, this is my home, and I...
Keep your hand away from that drawer, Jasper. This gun is small, but it's very effective.
I tell you I know...
I'll do the talking. You're a member of the Cosa Nostra, better known perhaps as the Mafia. So was Rossi, until he got sick of all the killings and the violence.
What the blaze are you talking about? I know nothing about the
The
Mafia.
Mafia don't like any of their members getting out. They liked it less in Rossi's case because he knew the name of the man who was head of the British organization.
All this has got nothing to do with...
And that is you, Jasper.
You're talking nonsense.
Rossi came to England with the Mafia hot on his heels. He was badly frightened, but he was determined to get his information into the right hands. During the war, he worked with the resistance movement in France. The liaison officer was a man named Quexley. Not the Quexley you murdered. Another Quexley.
Another Quexley?
Rossi's code name was the Sin Eater, and communications were written in code on playing cards. Rossi knew that anything he sent on playing cards to Quexley, particularly if it included the name Sin Eater, would be understood. But he sent them to the wrong Quexley. That was a shock for you, Jasper, when this one showed me the cards in the bar. But you didn't know I'd taken them. You were called away to the other bar, and when you came back, I'd gone. You shot poor Quexley, but it wasn't until you couldn't find the cards that you realized that I'd got them.
There's not a word of truth in all this.
You sent those two thugs to get the cards from me. Steve Munt's been pulled in, and he'll talk. So will Ted when the police get hold of him.
You can't connect me with any thugs, Mr. Blake. I don't know anything about them. Now, will you go, please? I'm tired and I want to go to bed.
Open the door, Tinker.
Right, Gov.
I'm sure Inspector Hedges is getting tired of waiting. The police are going to tear this place apart, Jasper, and there's nothing you can do about it because they have a special Home Office warrant. I'll carry on, Inspector.
Right, sir.
I'll keep an eye on Mr. Jasper right here.
Oh, dear. I don't know how I'm going to get through a day's work tomorrow.
Today?
You would come, Paula.
Well, I wasn't going to miss anything.
You didn't. Anyway, there's enough on Jasper to keep him out of circulation for a good many years. And we've got a list of all the mafia who have infiltrated into the country. That'll please the Home Office.
And the body of Carlo Rossi in that barrel in the cellar. How did you know Rossi would be there?
No, I didn't. It was a long shot. He must have decided to come down and keep an eye on Jasper himself. Or more likely, he was brought down for Jasper to question by one of the mafia who were trailing him.
Well, the Home Office asked you to find Carlo Rossi, and you found him.
They were getting worried about the mafia starting up in England in a big way. Rumors had reached them that Rossi knew the man in charge. That's why they asked me to look for him.
What put you wise about Jasper Gunn?
Rossi.
How?
The marble in the black Zambomba.
How the dickens does that link up with Jasper?
But Jasper in French signifies marble. Strictly speaking, jasper, to face with marble. Like a fireplace or something like that. It was the nearest Rossi could get, but it was good enough.
Oh. I do hope we haven't got a busy day. I feel like sleeping for a week.
You needn't come in till after lunch. Think you can look after anything urgent?
Oh, look, Gov. I want to rest too. I've got to be freshened this evening.
Why particularly?
I've got a date.
Not with the vicar's daughter.
Why not? She's an absolute smasher. She's got everything.
Including a vicar for a father. All right, good luck, old chap.
That story in our Sexton Blake series was called The Sin Eater and was written by Donald Stewart. William Franklin was Sexton Blake, David Gregory, Tinker, and Heather Chasen, Paula. Mr. Jasper, the landlord of the Morning Lark, was played by James Beck, Daniel Quexley and Ted Clint by Henry Stamper, Inspector Hedges by Ronald Badley, Steve Munt and the police sergeant, Norman Mitchell, and Agnes Glibber was played by Betty Hardy. The series was devised for radio by Philip Ridgway and produced by Alistair Scott Johnston.